Hello, everybody. It's day 4 of the Feast of Unleavened Bread. And a lot of people make the mistake or the inexperience of thinking Passover is a one-time event, but it's a part of a weekly feast. And we're in the middle of that right now. And we're going to be doing a reading for day 4 of the Feast of Unleavened Bread. We're going to open up with the Shema found in Deuteronomy 6:4-9. Shema Yisrael. Yahweh Eloheinu, Yahweh Echad, Baruch Shem Kivo, Mahuto, Leolam Vaed. Hear, O Israel, Yahweh is our Elohim, Yahweh is one. And you shall love Yahweh with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. And have these words which I command you this day be upon your heart. And you shall teach them diligently to your children, and speak of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you retire and when you arise. And you shall bind them for a sign upon your hand, and let them be frontlets between your eyes. And you shall write them on the doorpost of your house and upon your gates. All right. Hallelujah. So we are reading here the fourth reading, the daily reading of the fourth day. Yeshua prays in Gethsemane. Then Yeshua went with his disciples in a place called Gethsemane, and he said to them, "Sit here while I go over there and pray," as found in Matthew 26:36. He withdrew about a stone's throw away from them, knelt down and prayed, "Father, if you are willing to take this cup from me, yet not my will, but your will be done." An angel from heaven appeared to him and strengthened him. And being in anguish, he prayed more earnestly, and his sweat was like drops of blood falling to the ground. When he rose from the prayer and went back to the disciples, he found them asleep, exhausted from sorrow. Could you men not keep watch with me for 1 hour? He asked Peter. He went away a second time and prayed, "My Father, if it is not possible for this cup to be taken away unless I drink it, may your will be done." When he came back, he again found them sleeping, because their eyes were heavy. He left them and went away once more and prayed a third time, saying the same thing. And it's found Matthew 26:40 and also 42:44. Yeshua is arrested. Now Judas Iscariot, who betrayed him, knew the place because Yeshua had often met there with his disciples. So Judas came to the grove, guiding a detachment of soldiers, and some officials from the chief priests and Pharisees. They were carrying torches, lanterns, and weapons. Going at once to Yeshua, Judas said, "Greetings, Rabbi," and kissed him. But Yeshua asked Judas, "Are you betraying the Son of Man with a kiss?" Knowing all that was going to happen to him, he went outside and asked them, "What is it you want?" "Yeshua of Nazareth," they replied. "I am he," Yeshua said. When Yeshua said, "I am he," they drew back and fell to the ground. Again, he asked them, "Who is it you want?" And they said, "Yeshua of Nazareth." When Yeshua followers saw what was going on and going to happen, they said, "Yahweh," or they said, "Lord, should we strike with our swords?" And one of them struck the servant of the high priest, cutting off his right ear. But Yeshua answered, "No more of this." And he touched the man's ear and he healed him. Then the detachment of soldiers, with its commander and the Jewish officials, arrested Yeshua. They bound him and brought him first to Annas, or Anan, who was the father-in-law of Capris, the high priest that year. Capris had advised the Jewish people that they would be good if one man died. If it would be good if one man died for the people. Simon Peter on the other and the other disciples were following Yeshua because his disciples were known to the high priest. He went with Yeshua into the high priest's courtyard. Peter followed him at a distance, right up to the courtyard of the high priest. He entered and sat down with the guards to see the outcome. The chief priest and the whole Sanhedrin were looking for false evidence against Yeshua so that they could put him to death. Now Peter was sitting in the courtyard, and a servant girl came to him. You also were with Yeshua of Galilee, she said. But he denied it before them all. I don't know what you were talking about, he said. Then he went to the outward gate, to the gateway, where another girl saw him and said to the people, this fellow was with Yeshua of Nazareth. He denied it again with an oath. I don't know this man. One of the high priest's servants, a relative of the man whose ear Peter had cut off, challenged him. Didn't I see you with him in the Olive Garden? Then he began to call down a curse on him after he swore to them, I don't know the man. Immediately a rooster crowed, and Yahweh turned and looked straight at Peter. Or Yeshua turned and looked straight at Peter. Then Peter remembered the word of Yahweh had spoken to him, or Yeshua had spoken to him. Before the rooster crows today, you will deny me 3 times. And he went outside and wept bitterly. Meanwhile, the high priest questioned Yeshua about his disciples and his teaching. I have spoken openly to the word, Yeshua replied. I always taught in synagogues or at the temple, where all the Jewish people come together. I said nothing in secret. Why question me? As for those who heard me, surely they know what I said. When Yeshua said this, one of the officials struck him in the face. Is this the way you answer a high priest? He demanded. If I said something wrong, Yeshua replied, testify as to what is wrong. But if I spoke the truth, why did you strike me? Then Iranus sent him, still bound, to Capris, the high priest. Then the high priest stood up and said to Yeshua, are you not going to answer? What is the testimony that these men are bringing against you? But Yeshua remained silent. The high priest said to him, I charge you under oath by the living God to tell us if you are the Messiah, the Son of Yahweh. Yes, it is as you say, Yeshua replied. But I say to all of you in the future, you will see the Son of Man sitting at the right hand of the Mighty One and coming on the clouds of heaven. The high priest tore his clothes and said, he has spoken blasphemy. Why don't we need any more witnesses? You have heard the blasphemy. What do you think? He is worthy of death, they answered. The men who were guarding Yeshua began mocking and beating him. Then they spit in his face and struck him with their fists. Others slapped him and said, prophesy to us, Yeshua, who hit you? And they said many other insulting things to him. When Judas Iscariot, who had betrayed him, saw that Yeshua was condemned, he was seized with remorse and returned the 30 silver coins to the chief priest and the elders. I have sinned, he said, for I have betrayed innocent blood. What is that to us? He replied. They replied, that's your responsibility. So Judas Iscariot threw the money into the temple and left. And then he went away and hanged himself. The chief priest picked up the coins and said, it is against the law to put this into the treasury, since it is blood money. So they decided to use the money to buy the potter's field as a burial place for foreigners. That is why it has been called the field of blood to this day. Then what was spoken by Jeremiah, the prophet, spoken by Jeremiah the prophet was fulfilled. They took the 30 silver coins, the price set on him by the people, and they used it to buy the potter's field, as Yahweh commanded me. Matthew 27, 3-10. With the reward he got for his wickedness, Judas Iscariot bought a field. There he fell headlong. His body burst open. and all his intestines spilled out. Everyone in Jerusalem heard about this, so they called that field, their language, Al-Edema, that is, field of blood. For it is written in the book of Psalms, may his place be deserted, let there be no one to dwell in it, and may another take his place of leadership. That's in Acts 18-20. All right, we're going to see the first trial by Pilate tomorrow in the fifth reading of the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Continuing to read this every single day to remember this Feast of Unleavened Bread. And I remind you now to take a piece of unleavened bread and some grape juice as a representative of the blood of Yeshua and the life of Yeshua, and to just have that each day during this feast and remember what Yeshua did, and just try to remember that every day, but this week more than ever, just remember that. All right? May Yahweh be with you all. Have a blessed day, and shalom, shalom.